Sub-Zero. Easily my favorite fighting game character of all time. God knows I've drawn him enough times on this channel, and to me he's probably one of the coolest Mortal Kombat characters in history, no pun intended. And I'm a big fan of pretty much the vast majority of his character designs in Mortal Kombat history. But after previously doing a design history on Gen Kazama from Tekken, I figured it would be way too cumbersome to do that with Sub-Zero, considering how many appearances and how many different costumes and variations he has over the years. So I figured it'd be a better idea to actually rank the top 5 greatest Sub-Zero character designs in history. And by character designs, I mean main game entry designs. I'm not going into all the different skins and variations from Mortal Kombat X, 11, and 1, simply because I'd be here all day and it'd be a lot to sift through. Hell, I haven't even seen every single skin from each game, so that'd be ridiculous to begin with. So we're just gonna stick with main attires and alternates, and nostalgia also playing a bit of a factor. So let's go. Mortal Kombat X. So the aesthetic of this Mortal Kombat game was already very dark in nature, and with that I really appreciate how they made this Sub-Zero design look dark as well. There's almost no real color to this design, but it helps it. It almost makes for a more menacing or sort of darker Sub-Zero look. Easily, if you took the blue in this design and made it black, it would almost pass for a noob Sabat as well. Not to mention the actual intricacies of the details. Most of Sub-Zero's accessories in this design are completely black. All of his knives and accessories and etc. around his belt and whatnot is all completely dark. They're either brown or they're black. Then his actual costume itself, the padded look to his design I feel like is really cool. And depending upon the material that it's made with, it would make sense for Sub-Zero to use in a fight. It's not just some regular basic cloth, it's something that could actually like withstand piercings or blows of something of that nature. Like, it's really cool looking. While I do appreciate how dark the design does look though, I will say that's the thing that hurts it in my mind. There's no color to it. For the game's aesthetic, it sort of helps, but like I said before, this could have easily been made into a Noob Sabat design without blinking an eye. The main pieces of color in this design is sort of his skin and the blue, as dark as that is, that remains in the design as well. Very cool looking and a very unique take for a classic Sub-Zero look, basically just a regular ninja design, but just the sheer darkness of it is the reason why I rank it at 5 below the rest of them.
4.
Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance and Armageddon. This is probably the first really unique Sub-Zero design that they've ever created for NetherRealm / Midway, I guess. Up to this point, we've basically got a bunch of variations to the Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3 designs. He's never really had a standout look to him outside of the original Mortal Kombat 3 look where he's unmasked, and that's hit or miss depending on how you look at it. This design took elements of sort of all of them and combined them in a way that looked cool. Also, the little subtle changes to Sub-Zero's design that we had never seen to this point in Mortal Kombat, like his icy arms. Personally, I'm a big fan of Sub-Zero having some type of gloves or accessories on his arms, but not giving him that and just replacing it with frozen arms is not necessarily a bad design choice in my mind. And then you can look at it and tell the thought was put into every piece of this design. From the actual look of his pants, which is kinda sort of similar to his MK3 look, and by that I mean the original unmasked Sub-Zero look. His upper body, where they gave him the metallic plates of armor that I believe has Chinese writing on it if I'm not mistaken, along with the Lin Kuei medallion. Even down to his frozen eyes, which is a nice touch. Even his mask looks cool and unique. And it looks so cool that it was later used for another Sub-Zero design, which we'll get to later. But yeah, this is definitely one of the more unique Sub-Zero looks, especially up to this point in Mortal Kombat history. Paying homage to the old looks while at the same time changing it to make it into something different from what we had previously seen. And I'm not entirely mad at it.
3.
Mortal Kombat 11. This design looks unique simply because it doesn't look like the regular ninja design. He still looks like a ninja, but he doesn't look like the same ninja, if that makes any sense. They took that Mortal Kombat design and they made it into something new. the way his armor looks, even the look of his helmet. Being honest, the unmasked Sub-Zero look in Mortal Kombat 11 and the one with the mask and hood, to me, looks the same. If it is different, the differences have to be very, very subtle in my opinion. But they're both still cool. Even his boots in this design look unique and special. And if you were to look at that design and tell me that he was different from the clan that Scorpion is in, looking at the two designs from this game, I would actually hold that to be true, considering that both games made it a point to give them ninja looking designs. As usual, if you understand what I meant by that, that kind of sounded crazy to be quite honest. But basically what I'm saying is they both gave them sort of, rather than these elaborate supernatural looking designs, they gave them more realistic looking ninja designs. But in the case of Sub-Zero, his looks like whatever you would imagine a Lin Kuei assassin to look like. His looks somewhat different. And while it's still a blue ninja design, it looks just very much unlike a lot, if not all, of the Sub-Zero designs from the past. I really like this design.
2.
Mortal Kombat Deception. Oh boy, some people might be hot about this one. Me personally, I love this Sub-Zero design. To this day, it is the most unlike any other Sub-Zero look in history. Well, besides from his alternate, which should be on the list of like worst Sub-Zero designs of all time. But this one is so different. Most people just write the design off just off top because it looks so much like Shredder from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But I will almost argue if you took the design and just gave it a regular ninja hood, it would still look pretty cool. To this day, I think it stands the test of time for how unique it is. Just the touch of Sub-Zero being such a cold character and having the fur on the design, whoever thought up that was a genius in and of itself. Even his accessories, like if you were to tell me Sub-Zero is the Grandmaster of the Lin Kuei, this design is what immediately comes to mind. It looks like Sub-Zero has elevated from just being a Lin Kuei assassin to being the Grandmaster at this point. Like there's nothing else that looks like it. And it makes him stand out from every other Lin Kuei character you've ever seen in history. Granted, it's mainly been Cyrax, Sector, Frost, Smoke, but still it's very unique as a result. And unlike the Mortal Kombat X design, Sub-Zero looking as pale in this one doesn't necessarily hurt the design all that much. Because he's not as dark, being left to sort of silvers, blacks, blues, and whites doesn't really hurt this one as much as it did the MKX design to me. My literal only gripe with this design at all, and the reason why I don't say it is the absolute greatest Sub-Zero design of all time, is I wish they would have designed the pants more. Even if it was nothing more than a stripe down the sides or something, just something a little more to help it pop just a tad bit. But this is nitpicking. Personally, I feel like this is one of the greatest Sub-Zero designs ever made. Before I continued, I just wanted to give an honorable mention to a few specific Sub-Zero designs that I didn't put on this list, but I still think are pretty special designs. The Shaolin Monks Sub-Zero design, the Mortal Kombat 3 Sub-Zero design, and the Cyber Sub-Zero design for Mortal Kombat 9.
1.
And now what I think to be the greatest Sub-Zero design of all time, and this may be controversial, though it really shouldn't be, nor should it be a shock, MK9 Sub-Zero. I'm sorry, but at this point, I think when people think of Sub-Zero and his character designs in Mortal Kombat history, they're gonna think either the original Mortal Kombat 1 and 2 looks, or they're gonna think of this one. Considering Mortal Kombat 9 took after the original 3 Mortal Kombat games, this design to me encapsulates all 3 designs into one. But not just that. Remember when I said earlier how much I love the Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance Sub-Zero mask? Well, guess what? This one is not far off from that either. It was as if they said, let's take pieces and aspects of every great Sub-Zero design in history and implement it into this one. Even him having a lot of arm armor or something like that was not really a thing in Sub-Zero's design in the past, at least not until his Mortal Kombat Deception one. They brought it back here for MK9. Only it doesn't look as bulky and like cumbersome, like you wouldn't be able to move in it like the Mortal Kombat Deception one looks to an extent. This one doesn't have this. It's almost a perfect Sub-Zero design. Even the wraps around the gloves I feel like was a nice touch. Every single piece of this design to me is perfect. I know Mortal Kombat 9 sort of gets a lot of blind credit just for being Mortal Kombat 9 because it's the Mortal Kombat game that everybody loves so much just because of how fun it was, how it played, and the nostalgia of it. 3 elements that I don't really think will ever be able to be replicated in Mortal Kombat history, at least outside of MK Armageddon. That game gets a lot of blind praise for these as a result, but this Sub-Zero design, there's nothing better. And it's a design that's designed so well. The complaint I had about there not being any designs or anything special about the lower body of MK Deception Sub-Zero design, I don't feel like that hurts this one as much. Just because there's still some detail and so much going on in the lower half of Sub-Zero's body still, it kinda holds up. NetherRealm definitely had their thinking caps on when trying to put this design together because they somehow kept the integrity of Sub-Zero's original Mortal Kombat design, specifically the first and second game, together, but completely updating it and making it unique for, say, 2011 or 2010 when this game was created and came out. Also, it's the design that keeps getting referenced by a lot of people for Sub-Zero and Mortal Kombat games, and it's used in cartoons, movies, artwork, cosplays, etc. You name it, people love this Sub-Zero design. So yeah, there's not really a knock or a complaint that I have on it. If you want to say it looks too much like the old designs and it's just a Blue Ninja design, you're absolutely right. But in this case, that's what it was intended to be. It's not like Mortal Kombat Deception or MK11 that's supposed to be its own thing. It's supposed to be designed in the game that it's in. This was supposed to be like the original Mortal Kombat designs, and they still made it unique enough while still being what it's supposed to be. Like, I feel like I'm repeating myself at this point, but there's just nothing more to say. This MK9 Sub-Zero design is the GOAT as far as I'm concerned for Sub-Zero designs. But these were just my opinions. What do you think are the top 5 greatest Sub-Zero designs of all time? And if there's a design that I missed, let me know what you think should be on the list. Until next time, you all have a good one, and I'm out.